Lovely, thank you. Since the convener is not here, I'm convening and I'm calling myself, and I'm going to be speaking on formative assessment in the clinic using the OCEX. This is something I use in my residency program. It takes a bit of time, but it incorporates a lot of things that we just talked about teaching in the OPD, evaluating how our students are doing in the OPD when they're actually on the job, and also looking at giving an opportunity for feedback. Okay. So the OCEX falls under a larger banner called the Workplace-Based Assessment, or the WBA, and this is the future. This is the future of resident training. It is the assessment of a trainee's professional skills and attitude, and should provide evidence of appropriate everyday clinical competence. So what is wrong with the previous assessment systems that we already have? They're mostly knowledge-based assessment, which is really either an MCQ or writing endless answers to questions. They may have some clinical or practical component, but as we know, clinical competence is more than knowledge. It includes decision-making and procedural skills as well. But most important, you need the incorporation of interpersonal skills, professionalism, self-appraisal, ability to improve. All these need to be there in the ideal assessment system. So the traditional model of assessment from school through college, through medical school, residency, membership exams, has been intermittent high-stakes exams where you receive a grade and a pass or a fail. And consequences vary. It may be minor embarrassment if you fail, or potential derailment of the career, and no to very little opportunity for feedback, which is lost opportunity. So if you think of it, at the end of these days, you have the FAT exam, the FAT exam by the DNB, which provides the formative assessment followed by some opportunity for feedback. But in reality, if you fail in the big exam, you have no idea why you failed and where you went wrong. So moving from high-stakes examination where marks are what we are concentrated on, to proving clinical competence, evaluating clinical competence in the workplace setting is what the WPBAs are all about. So this is the Miller's Pyramid, as you know. It starts with a resident knows how, where you test knowledge. Then you see knows how, which is testing competence, and then shows how, which is testing performance, and then the resident does, which is the action. Excuse me. Does he want to speak, and then I will continue? All right. So I'm going to leave you with that thought, and then we come back and I wrap up what exactly OCEX is all about and how exactly you can use it in the clinic. So joining us for the keynote address is Dr. Atul Kumar, and he's going to be speaking on lecture skills. Welcome, Dr. Atul Kumar. Yay, our convener is here. Welcome, Dr. Krishna Prasad. Can I have this on? Thank you. All right, so we will resume where we left off. This is the Miller's Pyramid, and I'll go to the next slide. So basically, let's look at, play from current slide. There you go. Okay. So how do you test if a resident knows something? You can give an MCQ test, or ask them to write a report, give a Viva exam. Next, to test if they know how to do something, you have to again ask them to write an essay perhaps, or a case-based MCQ. They know how to solve a particular patient problem. How do they show that they know? The way they show is by having either practicals or having an OSCE. But the truth is the final aspect of the pyramid is actually direct observation of the learner performance, and that's where the OCEX comes in. So the OCEX, which is now in its second edition and has just gone in for publication, is the ophthalmic clinical evaluation exercise. So basically, is an observed encounter between a resident and a new patient. The evaluator should be present in the exam room for the entire interaction. The intent is to rate the resident in all the categories listed below and then provide immediate performance feedback. I know some of you thinking, oh my God, how are we going to do this in a busy OPD? But we'll come to that in a minute. So if you look at that, first you have interview skills, which has everything from introduces self, obtains chief complaint, history of present illness, pertinent negatives. The Spain inquiry is a very US thing, but anyway, allergies, review of systems, medication list, past medical history, social history, family history, and washed hands. And then, as all aspects of the examination, right from vision, which includes refraction because it's at best corrected, pupil re-examination, RAPD, confrontation visual fields, ocular motility, external exam, slit lamp exam, IOP plus minus gonioscopy, and fundoscopy. What we talked about in the last session. We also observe interpersonal skills and professionalism, looking at whether the resident was empathetic, respectful and courteous, used language the patient understands. In our case, in Chennai, it is Bengali. Explained findings, explained diagnosis, explained plan and options, and asked if the patient had questions. Finally, they concisely have to present this to you, and it is very important because all our PGs have to ultimately sit for the exam. So they present this as a case presentation, and then you evaluate them whether it was concise and clear, pertinent facts were presented, pertinent positives and negatives were there in the presentation, appropriate differential diagnosis was generated, an appropriate plan, and the response to attending, that is yourselves, questions and suggestions. All this is rated on a scale of 1, 2, 3, 4. So, and each one of these has a descriptor. Each one of these levels has a descriptor, and that is where it's special. So really, what are the steps of an ideal teaching program? Here, your PG has joined your program. So you start with a good induction program. Then there is a systematic teaching that happens based on the curriculum. And then comes the workplace-based learning and assessment, which is the OCEX. And then there is an opportunity for ongoing feedback, encouraging a holistic approach, reflective practice, and lifelong learning. So let's do a little scoring exercise here. So this is the OCEX scoring rubric, the way it looks, as you just saw. So let's look at pupils, okay? So the pupils, as you see, has 1, 2, 3, 4, does not check. Number 2 is checks light reaction, but does not swing the light. And 3 is checks light reaction and for RAPD. And 4 is does additional appropriate testing relevant to patient's history and exam. Maybe, tested near a response to convergence, accommodation, etc. And also looked at whether there was anisocoria present, etc. So that would be level 4. All right, let's look at this, and you can show of hands, what do you think, how this was? So you tell the patient, check the pupil, check the resident to check the pupil, and this is what the resident does. What do you think? How many of you think it's 1? And 2? 3? 3? Yes. Okay. So he definitely didn't pause to look for anisocoria, didn't check near, said, are you finished with the pupillary exam? Yeah, done. So that's in there, you have an opportunity to stop and tell the postgraduate what he has missed in the pupillary exam, give him a score of 3. So when you repeat this 6 months or a year later, there is objective evidence of improvement or no improvement, whichever the case may be. So why do we use a rubric? Because teaching is not equal to learning. You have to show evidence that the student has learned. Let's do one more, and let's look at ocular motility. So I said test the ocular motility. I don't have the rubric for this, but you said test the ocular motility, and this is what the resident does. So the rubric for this would be 1 is does not test ocular motility. I don't think 1 is correct. The 2 is tests only versions but does not do a cover test. 3 does cover test but uses inappropriate targets. And 4 would be does everything perfectly. Does all the, but it cannot say does it perfectly. It has to have an exact description. Says does cover test using appropriate targets and test versions. So where would you put this resident? Maybe a 2. That's right. So good, you're all already using the OCEX, and this is available on the net with the ICO's website for use. We usually take a printout, give it to the resident, and let me tell you exactly how we do it. So integration is the key. I know everybody has a full workload in the clinic, but assessment does not take place in isolation. It's hard to have one particular hour or set aside in a day and say, okay, now I'm going to just only do the OCEX. That's kind of not practical. So you have to incorporate it in the day-to-day setting because you're trying to simulate really what happens in the real life, what happens in the natural environment of the clinic. So this is going to lead to a culture change. So you may say, okay, first patient in the outpatient clinic today, I'm going to do a mini CX. And what is a mini CX? You can break down the OCEX and say, okay, I want you to check pupils. And then just observe that and score that. So by the end of the rotation, you've used all the components of the OCEX by breaking it down into mini CX. So this is just an example of how I happen to have an administrative off day. And so the first hour of the off day I use for this. So I have a room blocked for this. Believe me, I don't do it all the time. So this is just done for one resident once during their first year. Okay? So here the resident is welcoming the patient. And then I explain to the patient, I tell them this is a quality check. It's a private hospital. So they don't want to think they're being a guinea pig or something. You tell them this is a quality check. They're all doctors in training. I have to be present here, observing the whole training, and ensure that you're getting the best of the services today. And the patients are usually happy because they have somebody with gray hair sitting in the corner. And so we observe everything, every aspect, right from when they take history to the very end. And the end of it, so everything is observed. And then the resident is presenting the whole case to me. And then you score the OCEX and give it to them. Look, this is, and a copy goes into their file, and one is given to them for improvement. So really, what is the purpose and benefits for the individuals? Because it provides immediate feedback, and in that way provides motivation through positive feedback. It encourages an aspiration to mastery, providing learning and informing learning objectives, demonstrating progression over time within the same rotation or across the rotations. What is the benefit for you for the training program? Because you demonstrate that trainee is progressing and contributing evidence for summative decisions if required, because you have something objective. You may have a colleague who says this resident is terrible. He doesn't know anything. But here, if you've done an OCEX, you have an objective evidence as to how the PG is performing, how he performed last year, and how he's doing today. Also identifies the doctor in difficulty, providing data to support decisions involving trainees in difficulty. You may think a trainee is doing really badly and you may have to let them go, or you may have to warn the board or give them extension, but this gives you more an objective evidence before you take such a decision. So in summary, using a workplace-based assessment like the OCEX attempts to make assessment objective, helps the assessor with specific examples, tells the student what is expected, provides opportunity for prompt, structured feedback. Thank you.